And we are back, and we're going to be looking at the workspace that you're using. First of all, the application bar across the top. It's going to give you all of this lovely menu items. If you're on a Mac, the application bar is kind of split. You have a workspace switcher, which is this, and then you have a menu bar. So it's kind of two bars instead of just one, but it's everything is accessible the same as this is. The bar underneath is your control panel, which gives you the options for whatever object you have selected. If right now I have the selection tool selected, if I pick up something like the rectangle tool, you can see that my items are going to change according to what tool I have. So let me just delete that for now. Panels, which are on the side, are going to help you to monitor and modify your work. Some panels are displayed by default. You can display any panel by choosing it from Window. So you have all of these panels that are available to you. We only have a few of them that are coming up on the side right now in Essentials. Panels are collapsible. So when I'm using one, I can open it up simply by clicking it and collapse it again, either by clicking the icon or by collapsing with the double arrows. Mostly used is going to be the tool panel, which holds your tools for creating and editing images, artwork, page elements, and a whole lot more. All of the related tools are grouped together. All that really means is that similar tools are going to be grouped on your tool panel, which, by the way, you should be able to take and make your toolbar one bar rather than a double. So just depends on whether you want a single column or a double column. All the tools are still listed. You will find there is the selection tool, and this is the direct select tool and the group select tool, and so they're all kind of in the same place. So here we have the magic wand, which is a selection tool, the lasso tool, which is another selection tool. We have the pen tools are going to be together, the type tool, the line tool, rectangle. Then we'll jump down into paintbrush, and then we're going to start in with items that are going to manipulate the things you create using the tools up at the top. So everything is grouped the way you need it to be. One of the oddball things, though, is your artboard tool. If we were to select the artboard tool, we get to resize our paper here. So we can say, okay, I wanted this when I started this off at 8.5 by 11. Maybe I want a slightly more square page because I've changed what size I'm going to use, and this is really important for those of you who are going on in graphics and need to meet size requirements. And oh, look, I have assistance here with a little pop-up by my cursor that tells me, and I can change the size of this artboard. So yes, it's adjustable. I can add artboards and all kinds of crazy things. And if I didn't do that exactly right, I can change this up in the control panel at the top and automatically plug in the numbers and get items to change. So life is good. We have lots of ways to control exactly what we're doing and get the results that we are trying to achieve. So let's go back to our infamous rectangle tool, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle in, and we have a lovely rectangle that we've put in. There are other options that we'll get into, which are live corners, where you will be able to adjust those corners as you're working on them. I don't have that turned on right now, but that's something else we have to look forward to. When you select an item, you may wish to change the color of that, or you can even draw with it. We have the interior, which is the fill, the exterior, which is the stroke. If I want to adjust this and make changes, all I need to do is make sure I click whichever item, and I can select it here in the swatches panel or down here in my toolbar, fill and stroke. If I want to pick my stroke, I can bring the stroke to the front so that that is active. And I'm going to select a green for that and click on the fill to make it active, and it comes to the front, so at a glance you can tell which one you're changing, and I'm going to fill it. Okay, now I can also make adjustments to my stroke, and I will have the same available up at the top. If I don't wish to work with anything on the panels, I can work with almost everything across the top in the control bar. So let's see, I right now have a 2-point stroke. Let me change that to a 5-point, or maybe let's make it to a 10. And I have ability to change the line so that it will follow a profile. I can customize that if I wish. Maybe rather than a basic line, I would like to use a specialty type line. So let me zoom in really quick. By the way, the shortcut key for using your zoom is your control key and your space bar. And I can zoom in and we can see the changes. Maybe I'm not happy with a 1-point line now. I want a 5-point. I can continually make changes, click off to deselect, and I'm on to creating something else. These are the main tools. Let me use my control, hold down my control key, my space bar, and my alt key to get my zoom out. We're going to next move on to a drawing tool, which is the pen tool. Pen tool is used by clicking to create straight lines, and you get these lovely guides that will help you to keep things lined up. Notice how it's carrying over the colors from the previous item that I selected. But I can at any point in time make changes to that and I've just created another item. If I would like to make changes to this, I can grab my selection tool, which will allow me to pick up and stretch from the outside. If I want to, I can pick up my direct selection tool, and I can pick up a single point to make changes. And click off to deselect. This is the meat and potatoes right here, people. This is what makes the program work. I can use the curvature tool if I click. I'm going to do straight lines. I can drag out to create arcs by using the curvature tool. I'm not clicking and dragging, by the way. I am simply using the pen tool as it comes up to make abstract shapes or even to make perfectly adjusted curves. Don't click and drag for this because especially setting your first point, all you're going to do is move your point around. So it's simply click to make your second point, establish it, and use your curve to create the line you want. You can still go in and make adjustments to it afterwards by picking up your direct selection tool, selecting a corner, and you have these lovely little handles that come up where you can select a handle and change the direction of the line. So you still have more control over it. Back to the regular pen tool again. You have a similar design to the curve tool by using the pen tool. So if I click with my pen tool to establish my point, I can then click and hold and drag to create a curve. That will then carry through on the next click that I make. There's a slight difference between the curvature tool. If I click, I get a straight line with a straight point, a sharp point. If I click and drag, I can get a curved line, which will carry through on the next point, but then I can convert to a sharp if I would like. If I continue to click and drag, I will keep getting my curved anchor points, very similar to what I was creating. Oh, let me join that. There we go. Just very similar to what I was creating using the, oh, come on. There we go. There, finally joined that. But very similar to using that curve. But the idea with the curve is that you can tell ahead of time what your curve is going to look like, and gives you different control. On the same token, you can go in and you can use add anchor points. So if I need to put an anchor point on a line, I will hover over that. I will come up with the little text that says path, click and add an anchor point. I can also delete anchor points by clicking on the point. You can see I get, oh, as long as I hover over anchor, click on that, I will delete a point. Anchor point tool, it lets me change my mind. So if I selected and made a straight point, I can, or a sharp point, I can click on this with the anchor point and drag out and change it to an angle. What's more, I can change the angle by holding down my Alt button and grabbing a handle. Oh, sorry, just by grabbing a handle after I've done that, I can change it. So let me try another one. Anchor point, and by clicking one like that was a curve, I can change it to a sharp point. Clicking, dragging out, I can change an angle. If I grab a handle, I can change just one side. Lots of different things that I can do. Take it down and change so one side is curved and the other side is not. Grab another anchor point, drag out to change the curve. If I adjust with my direct selection, I can adjust the handles. I can also hold down my Alt key and adjust. I would like you to do some experimenting and create some shapes on your own.